white on camera, but
light
it's not
is
gonna
fantastic.
Happen. It is. Okay, cool. Guys, I'm so nervous. So this is not information you needed to know, but yesterday I finished this journal, which I've been keeping for 2 years, a month, and a week, and today I started this one, which is bigger and heavier, but it has no lines, which is an interesting new thing I'm trying. So that'll be cool. Not necessary information though. Okay, I got 5 poems, and this first poem is I'm gonna call it the first spoken word poem I ever wrote. It's the first one I ever performed on a stage, and it is not at all me now. It is very much me at this point more than a year ago, but I really sort of still like it, even though I read it now and it feels like a stranger wrote it. Goes to show you how much changes in a year. Yeah, that one. It's called The 5 Stages of Grief. And this, I think I know for sure, that there exist people in the world who have a unique ability to stop time, to render everything else insignificant, to make the past and the future irrelevant, because living in the present is just so damn good. So it goes. An old man on the subway told me, "I wish you well with your thoughts. May they not paralyze you." I don't remember what he looked like, but his words stayed with me even as he got off and I sat down, or rather, I scribbled them down in my notebook as soon as he said them to ensure that I would not forget. And as my mother said the next day as I recited them to her from memory, how did he know? It's not you, it's me, I promise. If only I could get some damn words on paper and we could work this all out. It's not you, it's me, I promise. I'm going to try harder because I can't let this go. I can't let you go. All the synonyms in the for forget in the thesaurus begin with fail. Failure to remember, failure to recall, failure to think of, and it gets worse. To leave behind, to fail to bring, to neglect, to fail to omit. I have forgotten many things, more than I would like, but does that make me a failure? Have I neglected you? Hey, if you can hear me, I miss you. I fucking miss you. Fuck this fucked up mess we got ourselves into. Fuck you for saying you liked me, and fuck me for thinking it was okay. Fuck the world, because maybe I'm pretty sure it was worth it. Can you hear me? Once, I was diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder. All my therapists since then look at me as if I don't have any problems worth talking about, and I'm pretty sure they're right. Have I failed you by forgetting your voice and your smile and your eyes and what it was like to hold you and listen to you talk by the fountain and watch the colored lights? If you let me try again, I promise I won't forget a thing. I'll write it all down in my notebook every night before I sleep. I'll save every text message in a Word document and mark every time I see you in my calendar. I will make it impossible to forget. The man on the subway. He asked me what infinity was, and I said I didn't know, and I get flustered when strangers talk to me, and he laughed and said that I'd learned something. I was reading Everything and More, A Compact History of Infinity by David Foster Wallace. The problems of infinity made people crazy. It hasn't done me in yet, but I think I understand. What we did wasn't crazy. I tell myself over and over and over again, it takes me 2 weeks to rationalize every decision we made, but rationalize it I do. Every day I think about the park and the hike and the stars and the getting lost and the things that I allowed to happen because I was convinced it would all be worth it. Some days I feel so guilty. Others I just miss it, and most I just write letters I'll never send. As it turns out, infinity is all about continuity, which in turn is all about proof. Absolute, pure, beautiful proof. Because we can walk 1,000 steps down the hall, but how do we know that on step 1001 the floor won't fall from beneath us? I try so hard to let go of all the memories, all the hands held and all the short stories I read to you, all the secrets, and every time you put your lips to my nose, my cheek, my forehead. Every afternoon I practice letting go outside the subway as I watch the people and read the darling book you gave to me, and as a person with dark hair and glasses walk past, I think of you and I start to write yet another letter. May your thoughts never paralyze you. May your thoughts never paralyze you. May your thoughts never paralyze you. No, never. I got my list of things I'm gonna read down in the notebook, and other one I'm gonna forget because I'm freaking out. All right, so some of you have heard this poem before, and a lot of people have, people who weren't even at the reading where I first read this poem have come up to me and asked me who it's about. And originally when I wrote it, yes, it was about something, but something I've realized, especially since I wrote it, is that now when I read it, it is not about anyone. Yes, it was about a person at the time that I wrote it, but now it's about something completely different. It is about, I don't know, you'll see, because I'm going to read it to you, but it's just so frustrating. Please do not ask me who this is about. Fuck, it doesn't matter. It's a good poem. All right, it's called Mixed Signals. Hey you. You there with the short hair and the cool stare that makes my heart race 200 beats per minute. Are you finished grinning yet? Because your dimples make my stomach go round in circles and your perfect teeth make my cheeks turn red. And it isn't cool, you know, to glow like that on the dance floor when you're staring up at me in bed, just to go and dance with some other chick instead. In fact, it's kind of messed up, these mixed signals you're sending while I'm trying to mend a broken heart. Right from the start, you got me with those eyes. With that come hither look I thought only existed in the books that I read. You got me with that hug because you were strong and soft and caught me a little off guard. To be honest, the caress of your kiss distressed me retrospectively because I am worth more than this kiss and run game you seem to be playing. I'm just saying, for the record, I would be the best girlfriend ever. I would give you, I would be the first voice you hear in the morning and the last before you sleep, and I would keep every promise, or at the very least I'd try my best. I'd bring you ice cream and a spoon for every bad day and for every good one, and I'd take you out on a picnic every time there's sun, though this is Edinburgh, so I realize that's not a very big commitment. But if it's raining, we'll just have dinner at my apartment, and you can choose the music, and I'll make sure the pasta doesn't stick this time, and next time we'll bake a cake, and we can do it together whatever the weather, or maybe we won't. Because with every text message we send, you tend to get a little bit more difficult to reach. Can you teach me how to read this situation? Because there is remarkable speed in your hesitation, and I'm not quite sure of your intentions. Maybe we're reading different messages or using different rules to play the same game. All the same, your name is whispered by my heartbeat that night as I try to gently set myself to sleep after watching you dance with another girl. Hey you. I know you won't believe me when I say that I'm trying not to take this too seriously, because your voice comes in a low whisper that I drink in like hot tea when it's cold outside, and I'm finding it hard to hide my admiration for your determination and desire to make this world better, and whether or not we're ever together, you've inspired me. So, hey you, just let me know which way this is gonna swing so I know if I should bring a kiss or a handshake to our next date or encounter. It really doesn't matter. I'm just curious. So when I'm in crowds of people who do poetry, like this one, they tend to come up to me and be like, so what are you studying? And I say, oh, I'm studying maths. And they're like, what? And then usually somebody will ask, well, why don't you write poetry about math? And then I did. And you're not going to get any of it, and you're going to see why you shouldn't ask me to write poetry about math. Actually, I have a friend who's a math major here, and he'll get it. And I can explain it to you later, but I hope you enjoy it anyway. It's called Math Love Poem, or the intersection of the set of things about math, the set of things about love, and the set of things that are poems. People keep asking me to write a poem about math, but there is something perpetually stuck in my path, ensuring that these sets remain completely disjoint, so I'm writing this poem to try and make a point. If these two worlds I try to merge, I'll only write lines like, you make all my Cauchy sequences converge, and that isn't sexy unless there's a math major next to me who also likes poetry and knows that what I mean is, you complete me. See, it's totally freaking adorable, but in a room full of humanities people, perhaps it's deplorable. We've already written about love that's uncountable, and writing this math love poem feels insurmountable. And what would it be besides a collection of terms, the function of which I can't discern, cannot differentiate between funny and inaccessible? Come on, you guys, that pun was unacceptable. The problem could be my total obsession, with convex lust that leaves no impression on the set of people on whom I'm trying to flirt and intersect the set of people on whom it won't work. And in the real world, letting epsilon be greater than 0 won't help me prove that I could be a hero, and it also won't work to extend this to the complex plane and extended metaphor I couldn't hope to explain. So instead of writing a math poem, I'll wish that when I walk with my love, it's on a Mobius strip. And we'll share torus-shaped pastries and hold each other's hands, and I won't write poems people won't understand. Two more, you guys. You're great. I'm so happy you all stayed this long. Like, so happy. I thank you. Okay, so guys, Barack Obama won an election. Y'all better be fucking psyched. Like, I am fucking psyched, and so I wrote a poem about it. It's also my way of articulating my crush on Rachel Maddow. If you want to marry me, like, that's totally okay. Post-election reflection 2012. The day after Barack Obama won his second election, I texted my best friend that we should serve pot at our gay wedding in Washington. And she laughed in capital letters, and we are sure that we will be living in a better America. That happened, Rachel Maddow said on my laptop screen. That really happened. And I know what she means, because 1 week later, I'm still watching her so sweetly summarize the victories of Tuesday night that there is a lesbian in the Senate who can get legally married in 3 more states, and none of the men who tried to mansplain rape were successful in their pursuit of control over women's bodies, and our armies will be out of Afghanistan by 2014, and the Supreme Court will see more diverse, compassionate justices who won't reverse Roe v. Wade, and Rachel reminds me of the policies we've evaded when we told Mitt Romney, no, you may not make binders out of us. We do not trust you to improve our economy. No, you may not take away our right to education, to healthcare, to a government that is aware of our problems and seeks a resolution that will suit us all, whether or not we fall into the 47% who went and voted for Barack Obama that night. I watched on my that night from 3,000 miles away, I watched on a television lines around the block to vote in an election that had already been decided. Dear Florida, I tried to explain that voting is important to people who wouldn't listen, and you sent the message that our 1 in 73,847,284 doesn't make a difference, won't change anything, screw the Electoral College, the system sucks anyway, vote actually makes a difference. Because maybe those Florida votes didn't change the election results, but those lines sure did show us the faults in our system, so maybe we'll see change in the range of ways elections are held. People tell me that Obama isn't perfect. They talk about drone strikes and immigration reform, Guantanamo Bay, and the continuing drug war, and they have a good point. It took him way too long to evolve, and there are a lot of problems he still has to solve, and maybe he is just a moderate, but with Romney gone, it can't be long before the religious right realizes it can't win the vote of people it will only condemn. And then we might see some real change in this country, and maybe progressive politics will be a real possibility. Between you and me, I had so much hope. And after this election, I wear it on my arm as proudly as a dedication to this nation that might finally do some good for the world. All right, so this is the last one of the night, apparently, which is a lot of pressure. But yeah, so it's about a girl, you know how that goes. It's called Closure, appropriately, because it's kind of a pun because I'm ending, and it's not funny at all, so don't laugh at that. Okay. 5 years from now, you will see her. Oh, shit. Okay, I got this. It's all good. 5 years from now, you will see her, and she will be beautiful, just like the last time you saw her. She will be beautiful, just like the time before that and the time before that, all the way back to that first night you met, sitting on the too fancy carpet of your mutual acquaintance's apartment. You have good taste in books, you said, but I think I could fall in love with you, is what you meant. And so you took her by the hand and let her out into the cold, and she said that you should get lunch together sometime, but you didn't, at least not until much later, which marked the start of 3 weeks of romantic bliss. Began with a kiss and ended with "I'll miss you," and a hug goodbye, which no more than 1 week later you would cry about, forget how to breathe in and out, and so you'd write poetry hoping you wouldn't have to breathe at all, wondering why the fuck you let yourself fall in love with her anyway. You should know better than to let her into your heart like that, to fall apart like that, to be the glass that shatters. And so you write her letters when you're traveling, or when you see a book she'd like, or just because, and you're sure to leave an accurate return address, but her letter never comes. Instead, she just runs in the opposite direction. And while you're getting distracted by diamond rings and shop windows on the street, she's found a man to come home to show to her parents. You can't tell if she loves him, but a few months in, she stops returning your texts. You're terrified to think of what might come next. 5 years from now, you will see her, and her knight in shining armor with a kid, maybe a kid and a half. Her laugh will sing to you from across the room, and when she sees you, you'll convince yourself she sees the one who got away. She won't ask you to stay, but you will anyway. Anything for another chance to glance at that smile. It's been a while, you say, and after some polite conversation, she'll say, "Good night. Keep in touch," and you can tell that this has been too much for her. She would rather you were just an affair, a one-time in college secret spilled over drinks at a bar with friends you haven't even met. 5 years from now, you will see her, and you'll wonder if she's happy yet. Thank you.